I feel like recently there has been a lot of greats, a lot of great people, people that we look up to, some we call heroes that we're losing, and not necessarily because of COVID, but things are happening. Norm Macdonald, 7-year battle with cancer.
9-year battle.
9, okay, lost him this week. What a legend!
Norm Macdonald is one of my favorite comedians.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he's one of my favorite comedians. And I got to here's the thing about Norm Macdonald. If you watch Norm Macdonald, and it became clear based on the other comedians talking about him after the fact this past week, if you watch Norm Macdonald, you realize that he, like Andy Kaufman, gave like 0 Fs about what the audience thought about what he was doing.
He just did a bunch of jokes, didn't care what they thought.
Well, that was that was the big thing that has come up in, like, I've heard and people talking about and shown people talking about is the roast of Bob Saget. That was one of his
great one.
That was the big thing with when he just absolutely bombed on purpose,
right?
Because he was doing something different. Yeah,
did a bunch of
he's doing terrible. And then there's and then obviously all the Weekend Update, mostly the OJ jokes and how he got fired from NBC and all that. So, yeah, that guy was an absolute legend. I think I want to say that was the first time that I watched Saturday Night Live. My parents would be, for some reason, up, and I'd be in the basement watching SNL, not knowing what the heck they're joking about because I was like 12 or something. And so it was really, I mean, that was the first guy. And then it helped Norm Macdonald that Carlin Quinn was next, because Carlin Quinn was terrible in my eyes. And Norm Macdonald was just this deadpan. He would tell a joke and just stare at the camera.
I will repeat my favorite joke from Norm Macdonald, acknowledging that I cannot do it justice the way he did it, but I think that it is the best joke I ever heard Norm Macdonald do on Saturday Night Live, and that was last year in college radio. Better Than Ezra was number 1 on the charts. Coming in at number 2, Ezra.
That's great.
And
did he have a in there?
And he just looks at the camera like,
just looked at the camera and just like, Ezra. He knew that it was going to take 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then people started laughing. It's just a very, very funny man, and I want to address it right out at the top. So
there's 3 comedians that are along his lines that I absolutely love. George Carlin, probably one of the greatest, that gave 0 Fs his entire career.
Of course.
And he started SNL. He was the first comedian to open the show.
Yep.
Tosh literally has 0 Fs to give.
Doesn't care.
How is he not canceled in 2021?
I know.
A bunch of times over. And you look at guys like I have always wondered how South Park is still in the air and Tosh is on the air, and you're like, because they've conditioned their audience to be ready for that.
Right.
And that's what they are. And
if you don't like South Park, if you don't like Daniel Tosh, if you don't like Anthony Jeselnik, kind of the same, like just way over the line, way over the line.
I love that comedy.
Apparently you stopped watching or paying attention years ago, because South Park's been on the air, like 20 years now?
5 years, yeah.
And it's been ridiculous. So I guess they just flew under the radar, or they're just at this point because Comedy Central, just like John Oliver on HBO rips his business daddies all the time because of like Time Warner, Viacom, whoever the heck owns HBO now.
Yeah.
He just says, come and get me. Like, I'm too valuable. I do right by your company, and you're paying me tons of money, and I bring in subscriptions and all that.
That's an amazing position to be in, especially when you're in comedy.
It's
my third comedian that I would put on the list, Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm kidding.
College.
I just wanted to see your face. I just wanted to see y'all's face.
That was great. Yeah. Like
Ralphie May. Ralphie May was probably one of my other favorite comedians ever.
Ralphie May was great.
Dane Cook had a moment.
Oh yeah, he had 3 years.
Yeah. You can't put him in a great category. I just wanted to see both of you go.
Dane Cook.
And you were ready to agree with me, but I was like, sure. Remember that amazing? Remember that award-winning Golden Globe movie that he was in?
Jessica Simpson.
Academy Award-winning movie with Jessica Simpson.
Employee of the month.
Yeah.
Employee of the month.
You remember? See,
I can't remember important dates. I forgot to call my mom today on her birthday.
He was Elvis for like a year and a half. Dane Cook was Elvis for like a year and a half.
As died MySpace, died Dane Cook.
I mean, he sold out the Garden. Like, think about that. He sold out the Garden. Dice sold out the Garden. Dane Cook sold out the Garden.
Little Miss Muffet settled to Tuffet.
Dice is still doing that, by the way.
That was the really funny thing about Dane Cook was I was right in the middle of college. So I was hook, line, and sinker. I was all about Dane Cook. That guy was God in 2003 or whatever.
Right.
We used to wake up on Saturday or Sunday mornings in our house of 6 guys, and we would just get up and everybody would kind of come to, and we would be sitting downstairs.
Each other.
Right. We would just start the day off like just watching Comedy Central Presents or listening to a comedy album from like David Tell, Lewis Black, Dane Cook, like any of those guys that were, and Mitch Hedberg of course was, one of those guys too.
Me and my frat buddies just giving each other hand jobs, listening to Dane Cook. It was a good way to start your day.
I was not in a frat. They weren't frat brothers. Everything else is true.
We watched Dane Cook until noon and then crank LMFAO up.
Yeah, baby.
This is weird.
Hey there. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube page for the This Is Weird podcast. Of course, please like and subscribe. We love it if you do that because that's how we get validation for the things we say and the things that we just constant adulation in order to keep going. Otherwise, really, what's the point of living? Like and subscribe.